When you go into Power Pivot, so I'm just going to the Power Pivot tab in my ribbon and clicking the Manage button, you may notice that there's a couple of paste buttons. There's Paste, Paste Append, and Paste Replace. I want to have a look at the Paste Append and Paste Replace and why you would ever use those. What they are there for is that you can actually copy data from a web page, an Excel file, a Word document, pretty much any source. You can copy data, you can open up Power Pivot, and you can use either Paste Append or Paste Replace to bring that data into a table and into the data model and into Power Pivot. Let me just demonstrate this for you. So for example, I'm going to open up a file called Tauranga. So I'm not worried about what's going on here. I'm just going to open up my File Explorer and I'm just going to bring up a spreadsheet. Excuse me for one moment. Called Tauranga. And here it is here. All right. So here I have a file called Tauranga and it's simply got some data here. And what I'd like to do is select all this data. So I could just drag like this and select it. Or I could go Control Star and use the star on your number pad. If you don't have a number pad, you'll have to go Control Shift Star. Or another way is to just go Control A to select all. You have to be sitting in the data, of course, and Control A to select all. So I've selected the data I want, A1 to C14, and I go Control C or right click copy, however you copy. Now I'm going to dive back to Power Pivot and particularly the Galloping Gourmet file. So I'm going back to the Galloping Gourmet file, I'm going into Manage, so I'm in Power Pivot, and now I just want to do a paste. So if I click the Paste button here, then it says, okay, so you want to paste into a table. What do you want to name that table? So I'll say, name it Tauranga. Here is the data that will be pasted, so we can quickly preview all the records that we had. And it's also assumed that the first row are column headings, which is correct. And so I'm just going to go okay. And what I find now in my Power Pivot is down here, I have a table or a query called Tauranga, and it's brought this data in simply by going copy and paste. Now, what if I go back to that spreadsheet, Tauranga, and I add myself, Cathi Barker, and put a figure in here. And now I want to add that, paste append it to the table or query called Tauranga in my Power Pivot. I select just that record, I take a copy of it, I switch back to my Galloping Gourmet and particularly my Power Pivot, and what I want to do is I want to paste append it. So on the Home tab, I choose Paste Append. Let me just click in somewhere in the table, and here's my Paste Append. And what it basically does is says, this is the existing data. They could have made this a little bit bigger. And this is the data to be pasted. Exclude the first row of copied data. The first row, do I want to exclude the first row? I think I just want to go okay. And so when I go okay, it simply added me to the foot or appended me to the foot of that Tauranga table. So that's what the paste append does. But what if I wanted to do a paste replace? Let me go back to that Excel file. Say I actually sold, actual sales was 2,000. I'm going to copy this again, copy, go back to my Galloping Gourmet and my Power Pivot, and I'm going to paste replace. And so basically you're about to replace the data in the existing table. So what it'll do is it'll replace all of that data, all of it, with what I've just pasted, with what I'm about to paste. So I go okay. And so it's replaced all of it with what I copied. So that's how they work. You can paste data to create a table. You can paste append to tack some records on the bottom of an existing table. Or you can paste replace and replace everything in that table with what you just copied. Quite a powerful little collection of paste buttons there. I actually don't need this, so I'm going to remove this or delete this from my data model. And to do that, I'm just going to right click Tauranga and I'm just going to delete. and it says you're about to permanently delete this table, including any measures, which we haven't got to yet. So you go yes to that. And so we've removed Tauranga from our data table, data model, sorry.